There's one word that you are never going to hear me say, and it is a word that is, it's as powerful as it is polarizing. It is the notorious F word. When I first got into this world, one of the very first events I ever went to was Tony Robbins. Now, I listened to Tony Robbins CDs, I'd seen him on infomercials, everything, but I'd never seen Tony live, and I had no idea what to expect. But I remember getting there, and very quickly, within the first 2 or 3 minutes, he dropped the bomb.
Tell me, what could f this up?
And I remember being shocked to my core. I was like, whoa. And then he dropped another one and another one. I was like, whoa, what is happening? Where am I? Like, I didn't know what was happening. And I remember he stopped and he said, look, really quick, before you guys get offended, the reason why I use this word, he's like, it's a pattern interrupt. And he talked about how in language, when you use something like an F word, it shocks people's state. And then he was able to get deeper into someone's mindset by using that.
How the f is everyone?
Ooh, he swore. I trust this guy.
So should you use the F word? That is the question, right? Especially if you're someone who is a person of influence, where you are speaking on stage or doing a webinar or a podcast. I'm someone who's never used the F word in my life. It's not a word I use, it's not my vocabulary. If you send your family, your kids to listen to me speak, you're never gonna have to worry about like covering their ears so they don't hear the F word. Obviously, not everyone is gonna agree with me on this. And so because of that, I'm bringing some of the top speakers and thought leaders in the world in this video to share their opinion on this controversial topic.
Guys, what's going on? It is Andy Elliott.
My name's Steve Larson.
I'm Stacey Martino of Relationship Development.
Should you use the word f in your presentation?
I do not believe you should use the F word.
Should you use the F word? Yes. Dude, I've used it way too much. You know, I try to change people's lives, so every day I'm like, you gotta effing change. Today's the day. I don't need to use it anymore. I honestly think that I could change more people's lives if I stop using it, because a lot of my message, a lot of kids need to listen to as well. And if I keep saying the F words, the kids can't hear it.
We all have, as a speaker, this amazing message to give to the world. And anything that might get in the way of giving that, I don't believe we should do.
I personally think it's important to be polarizing online, because standing for something powerfully is what creates a movement. If you swear, you're gonna attract people that love it and repel people that hate it. Push-pull language is a good thing.
A study from Cornell University showed that when people hear the F word, a response starts to get triggered in people's amygdala, in their brains, and they believe a verbal assault is happening against them. And as speakers, we should be creating a safe environment and not a scary one.
I think a speaker should be authentic to themselves. And so if they're going to swear, all right, but I also think you need to be cognizant of the audience. If I'm not absolutely certain that the audience is appropriate for it, then I just won't. And so most of the time, I don't.
Never say it on someone else's stage. It's not your audience. That would be like wearing a Kanye West t-shirt to a Taylor Swift concert. But if it's your audience and it's your stage and you wake up every morning like Gary Vee thinking this is gonna be a good flipping day, you go, girl. Lean into that authenticity.
I think it is a terrible idea because you just don't know who is in your audience. But I understand the inclination to want to use profanity or shocking words to get people out of their state and actually change their state.
If it comes natural and powerful, it can be used as a statement.
I'm a person that uses the F word, but sometimes I edit it out and I say fire truck instead. Now, when people are up on stage and they're saying it, it doesn't really worry me, to be very honest, but I don't like reading it in written marketing.
It demonstrates a lack of ability to communicate clearly. I'm using this filler word because I don't have the ability to conceptualize a word that would actually make what I'm saying clear. There are millions of people out there who will not listen to you just because you use profanity.
I've had a lot of posts go viral under my brand Boss Babe. And do you want to know a secret? Of the top 10 most viral quotes, 4 of them have the F word in it. So I'm a big fan of using the F word in your content, especially if it's authentic to you and your brand.
I am an F word loving girl in my life, and I don't pretend to be something I'm not just because the camera happened to go on. So that's what's authentic for me, and I would encourage every human to do what is purely authentic for them as well.
All right, so there's some feedback from some of the top influencers and entrepreneurs in the world. I wanna give you kind of my opinion and hopefully give you some context about why I believe this. So I'm a marketer first and foremost. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm trying to get my message out to the world, and marketing is all about pattern interrupts, right? Like, you wanna be the person who interrupts the pattern to get someone's attention. The very first time somebody would have dropped the F-bomb, like, it was a huge pattern interrupt. It made me think about the movie Gone with the Wind that happened in 1939. Gone with the Wind was the very first movie ever that had a curse word in it. When Clark Gable said the infamous line,
"Frankly, my dear, I don't give a d."
That was the very first one, and it became the pattern interrupt. But what happened since 1939 till today? Well, people started using it more and more and more until the pattern interrupt became the actual pattern. In fact, look at the rest of this video, what happened when they took just The Wolf of Wall Street and how many F words were used in that one film alone. The very first time I heard Tony Robbins use the F word, it was a pattern for me. It caught me off guard. I was like, whoa. But eventually, everyone starts using it and it becomes a pattern. It no longer has its power. And it's interesting as I look at the world today, for most people, like the F word is part of the language. Even my favorite podcasters, Joe Rogan, these people I listen to, like I can't get through 30 seconds of that F word, F word, F word. Yes. And no longer is it startling. What I found is interesting is the opposite side's more startling. People come into me and they see my content, and one of the number one things I get is like, man, it's so refreshing to not hear the F word every other word. Not using the F word has become the pattern interrupt. It's something that sets me apart from most of my colleagues and friends that I work with. It's the thing that exposes your message to more people because it's different, it's unique, it's refreshing. Number two is I want to make sure that all the people I've been called to serve can hear my message. And I feel like by using that language, it makes it harder for me to get out to the masses. I've got a lot of kids and I love my kids, and I always am trying to figure out how do I do the best thing for them. And I remember after going to my very first Tony event, I was like, I want my kids to experience it. I want them to experience Tony Robbins. I don't feel comfortable letting my kids be influenced by him at this point because of the F word. One of the most heartbreaking things for me is my kids are obsessed with music and culture, and like watching TikTok and Instagram, like they're hearing this over and over and over again. I'm like, man, I've got to monitor everything when my 6-year-old is trying to watch YouTube Reels and every third video is coming on is dropping the F-bomb. It's interesting because I have people all the time say, man, you are the only person, Russell, I can let my kids listen to. I can listen to you in the car, knowing and trusting that you're not going to use the F word. And I think, man, how many other people are out there who my message or someone else's message could literally change their life, but because of the language you're using, it's keeping them back from that. So for me, that's one of the core reasons why I don't use the F word, why I don't think speakers should. There's so many people that I wish I could introduce my kids to, but I can't because I know what's gonna happen. And so that's my opinion. I know obviously everyone's got different opinions. I love and respect all my friends and colleagues and speakers who use it. I understand. It's a very polarizing topic, and I'd love to hear which side of the polarization you are on. And that's the core question is, what is your plan? Are you gonna use the F word in your messaging? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. My guess is that some of you guys in the comments are gonna say, man, it's so refreshing to not hear the F word. And my other guess is a few of you guys are probably gonna tell me what the F you think. So I appreciate y'all for listening. And if you like this video, please check out some more on our channel. We'd love to hear your feedback in your comments. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next show.